Hi, welcome to another video all about conference speaking. And this video is all about how do some speakers appear to have the attention of the audience right from the very start, whilst many of us seem to spend the majority of our speech just trying to grab the attention of the audience. Well, the good news is, if you've noticed this and you've decided you want a better control of the audience right from the beginning, there are three failures, let's call it that many people do when starting their speech. These are so common that they've become the kinds of approaches that most of us believe we need to do at the start of a conference or a speech, but actually all they're doing is undoing all of the good work that we're going to try and put into place later. Let me tell you what these three approaches are, and if you are guilty, can I use that word, of any of these three, some people do all three, you need to work to get a better start to your speech. I'll tell you about the three approaches and then I'll tell you a bit about each of them. So one of them is this self-deprecating, slightly nervous comments. The second is the housekeeping, and the third is the standard introduction. And the problem with all of these is they are so well known that we often don't notice we're doing them. We often don't think about them, which leads to the problem for the audience. Because we're all used to it, they're not thinking about it either. They're not paying attention, which is not a good place to start your speech. So let me tell you about these three. First one I said is the slightly self-deprecating, jokey start. And this often comes from a place of poor preparation or lack of confidence in what you're going to be saying, or maybe just when you look at a room full of people thinking, how's this going to go? So if you've ever heard or said something like, you'll have to excuse me, I'm a bit nervous, I'll try not to be too dry, I'll try not to keep us here too long, I'll try to get us back on track. Or there are a couple of jokey comments that people sometimes say, things like, I've got to follow that if there's just been a really good speaker. Sometimes people after lunch will say, welcome to the graveyard shift, or it's bastardized twin just before lunch, I'm what stands between you and lunch. Now all of these, please believe me, I get it. They're supposed to be slightly jokey and they're supposed to lower the defences of the audience. But in fact, we've heard them so much, the best you'll get out of one of these is a bit of a pity laugh. Nobody's going to be really thinking, oh, great, you're going to try not to make it too boring. And that's the start of your pitch, not too boring, not overrunning. If you're doing one of these, it's because you don't know what else to say at the start. So that you've got to get rid of. That leads me to the second approach. Sometimes people will start, particularly if they're the first speaker, with some housekeeping, where the toilets are, where the breaks are, there's no fire alarms today, where the exits are, and so on. Now, again, I'm not saying that content is not important. Of course it is. But you're talking to a room full of adults. They've probably found where the toilets are. They can probably figure out where the coffee breaks are. And in any case, that's not the best place to put that stuff. It is housekeeping. You're going to walk on stage and grab your audience's attention right from the start. That's difficult if your first announcement is going to be just a bit of housekeeping before we start. If your first words are just, come on, let's have a little bit something more powerful than that. Which only leaves us therefore the third approach. And the third approach is the standard introduction. Hello, my name is, this is what I'm talking about, this is how long I'm talking for. Now, on first sight, this is okay, it's professional, it does introduce you. But it's also what everyone's told to do. It often comes with the click slide that you then look at, even though you know your own name, right? So any of these three approaches just make it far harder for you to then start to grab the audience's attention as you go into your content. So if this is what you're doing currently, my strong advice is we find something better. And if you want some suggestions from me about what you can do that's better, I have plenty. So make a comment, tell me what you think about what I've said, share it with somebody, but please let me know in the comments and I will give you some specific suggestions for how to start your next speech. Hope that's of help.